Choosing the right air cooler is a nightmare right now. The market is flooded with cheap knockoffs that promise Arctic temperatures but are essentially just weak desk fans strapped to wet sponges. That's exactly why I took matters into my own hands and rigorously tested the absolute best offerings from Dreo. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly which Dreo unit dropped our thermometer readings by double digits and which ones actually fell short. Let's count down the top 5. 5. Dreo TurboCool Misting Fan 516. On paper, the concept behind this unit is undeniably fantastic. Dreo designed this to be a highly versatile, compact cooling solution that combines omnidirectional oscillation with an ultrafine misting system, meant to easily transition between your indoor living spaces and your outdoor patio. Setting it up was straightforward, and the initial burst of air does feel significantly cooler than a standard fan. It is meant to provide a personal bubble of comfort for those sweltering summer afternoons when you just want to sit on the balcony with a good book. However, during our extensive testing, a few cracks in the armor began to show. The misting function, while indeed producing a fine spray, struggled significantly depending on the ambient humidity. On particularly humid days, rather than feeling a crisp, refreshing drop in temperature, the mist tended to linger heavily in the air, making the immediate area feel somewhat sticky and clammy. The airflow itself is reasonably decent if you are sitting directly in front of it, but it genuinely struggles to project that cooled mist across anything larger than a very small, confined patio space. Furthermore, the build quality leaves a little to be desired when compared to the premium feel we usually expect from Dreo appliances. When we push the fan to its maximum speed and engage the omnidirectional oscillation, we noticed a distinct and somewhat concerning wobble in the base. More frustratingly, the motor produces a high-pitched, whining frequency at top speeds that can become incredibly grating if you're trying to relax or have a quiet conversation nearby. Ultimately, the TurboCool 516 is a passable option if you live in a very dry climate, have a very restricted outdoor space, and do not mind a bit of operational background noise. But you also have to factor in the water tank, which in our experience required annoyingly frequent refilling if you wanted to run the misting feature continuously through the afternoon. 4. Dreo TurboCool Outdoor Misting Fan 711 AS. This model aims to be a much more rugged, permanent solution for your backyard setups, stepping up the game with customizable oscillation angles and a water-resistant design specifically engineered to survive out in the elements. We tested this heavily on an uncovered wooden deck, and the customizable oscillation truly is a standout feature. It allowed us to dial in the exact sweep of the fan, ensuring the breeze hit the seating area perfectly without wasting energy blowing air at empty walls. Another major selling point is that it pulls water directly from a standard garden hose connection. This is an incredibly convenient feature for long days outside, as it completely eliminates the tedious chore of constantly refilling a small internal water reservoir. You just hook it up, turn on the spigot, and let the fan do its work. When it is running smoothly, it can noticeably drop the temperature of a hot patio, providing a heavy, cooling breeze that cuts through the stagnant summer heat. That being said, this direct hose power comes with a remarkably frustrating drawback that we encountered almost immediately. The water pressure management system on this unit can be incredibly finicky and difficult to master. During our tests, we found that if your home's water pressure runs even slightly high, the ultrafine mist quickly degrades into more of a heavy, continuous drizzle. Instead of feeling pleasantly cooled, our test subjects and our patio furniture ended up noticeably damp within 20 minutes. We spent entirely too much time hovering over the unit, meticulously tweaking the hose valve to try and find the perfect, elusive balance between mist and rain. Additionally, this unit is exceptionally bulky and surprisingly heavy. While the rugged build is great for weather resistance, it makes moving the fan across patio pavers or grass an absolute chore. If you're someone who likes to frequently rearrange your outdoor seating or move the fan back into the garage after every use, the sheer weight and awkward dimensions are going to get old very fast. 3. Dreo Evaporative Cooler 511. This is where our testing experience took a decidedly positive and refreshing turn. Unlike the misting fans that spray water into the air, this unit relies on specialized evaporative cooling technology, making it an absolute lifesaver for dry, indoor environments, bedrooms, or enclosed sunrooms where you cannot have actual water spraying around. Straight out the box, the sleek, tower-style design of the 511 is incredibly appealing, taking up minimal floor space while promising maximum airflow. The moment we filled the easily accessible removable water tank and dropped in the included reusable ice packs, the 511 transformed the stifling, stale air in our indoor test room into a crisp, deeply refreshing breeze. Dreo utilizes a fantastic cross-flow impeller wheel design inside this tower, which works to ensure that the chilled air is pushed out incredibly smoothly. It completely eliminates the choppy, buffeting wind effect you get from traditional bladed fans, creating a much more natural and relaxing atmosphere in the room. We absolutely fell in love with how incredibly easy this machine is to maintain and operate on a daily basis. The removable water tank slides out from the back effortlessly, making the inevitable chores of cleaning and refilling completely painless and spill-free. Furthermore, the internal oscillating louvers do a magnificent job of distributing that chilled, icy air widely across the entire room. You get a broad, sweeping wave of cool air rather than a single irritating wind tunnel blast that blows papers off your desk or messes up your hair. It is also astonishingly energy efficient. We ran the 511 continuously through a scorching 80-degree afternoon, and it barely made a noticeable dent in our energy monitor readings compared to a traditional portable air conditioner. 2. Dreo Evaporative Air Cooler IceWind 712S. This model takes every single thing that is great about standard evaporative cooling and injects it with a massive dose of intelligent technology and significantly enhanced cooling capacity. From the moment we unpacked it, the premium, modern aesthetic stood out, featuring clean lines and a beautiful display that looks vastly superior to the cheap plastic boxes that normally dominate the air cooler market. The raw cooling performance of the IceWind 712S is genuinely startling in the best way possible. Thanks to its massive internal cooling pad and an incredibly high-velocity airflow system, we measured a significant, undeniable temperature drop in our test room within just minutes of turning it on. The air coming out of this unit doesn't just feel like it is being moved around, it feels fundamentally changed. It is incredibly crisp, heavy with soothing coolness, and deeply refreshing, especially when you fully utilize the larger, dedicated ice compartments during the absolute hottest parts of the day. What truly elevates the 712S above the competition is the absolutely seamless smart home integration. Connecting the cooler to the Dreo smartphone app was instantaneous and glitch-free. On the app, we were able to precisely control the fan speeds, monitor ambient room temperatures, and adjust the oscillation angles without ever having to get up from the couch. The voice control compatibility with smart home assistants was a game changer, allowing us to just shout out a command to crank up the cooling as we walked into the house with our hands full of groceries. The build quality here is simply uncompromising. Despite pushing a massive volume of air, the acoustic engineering inside the 712S ensures that it remains exceptionally quiet, especially on its lower sleep settings. We ran it overnight in a bedroom, and it provided a perfectly chilled environment without ever disturbing our sleep with mechanical rattling or loud water trickling noises. 1. Dreo TurboCool Misting Fan 765S. If you want the ultimate, uncompromising weapon against relentless summer heat for both indoor and outdoor spaces, this is the absolute masterpiece you've been searching for. It takes the concept of a misting fan and elevates it to a level of engineering perfection that completely blew away everything else we tested. During our most brutal, midday heatwave test out on a completely uncovered patio, the 765S performed what can only be described as magic. It utilizes an incredibly advanced, high-pressure internal pumping system combined with a uniquely aerodynamic fan blade design. This creates an astonishingly fine, microscopic mist that evaporates into the air almost instantly. It cools the surrounding environment dramatically and rapidly, but the true miracle is that it does so without leaving a single drop of annoying moisture on your skin, your patio furniture, or your electronics. The versatility and intelligence of the 765S are simply unmatched in this industry. With its robust, smart capabilities, you can endlessly customize your cooling experience. Through the app, we set up specific misting intervals, tailored custom fan speed curves, and set exact oscillation boundaries to perfectly suit the layout of our specific deck and the changing weather conditions of the afternoon. The brushless DC motor at the heart of this machine is a marvel, pushing a wall of cooling air while remaining practically silent, guaranteeing your outdoor dinner parties are never ruined by the drone of a fan motor. Every single detail of the 765S screams luxurious quality, from the ruggedly elegant, fully weather-resistant exterior housing to the incredibly responsive and intuitive touch controls on the unit itself. It systematically solves every single problem, hassle, and complaint we have ever had with traditional swamp coolers and outdoor misters.